Hello, everybody. This is a analysis of a match played on Friday, April 25th, 2025, between Vic Carrero, who's a 485 Fargo at the time of this recording, and Bryan Nehls, who's a pretty new player, 320 Fargo at this time. It's a race to 9 ball. So I'm just going to watch this footage and give my thoughts on what's going on. So Bryan got the break, scratched on the break. So immediately I'm looking at the problem ball of the 4. So the angle that Vic has here might be a good going forward and then break into the 4 and the 5 to separate them. Otherwise, you're going to have to play for a safety or a bank. It's possible the caramel with the 5 goes. Interesting. Seems like maybe trying to go into the rail and then back into the balls. So here you might just kick. If the 4 is frozen to the rail, then you have to make a rail after that contact, so you have to hit a little bit harder. But you might just slow roll it and just barely touch it, so they don't get separation. Okay. It's just straight top English and go forward. Play the 5 on the side. On the 5 to the 6, I'd like to stay a little bit higher up, so that when I cut the 6, the cue ball naturally wants to go towards the 7. You don't want to have to force it to go to the 7. So if you get down table more closer to the end rail, then you'd have to maybe use draw. Yeah, this is a good angle, but a little bit too thin. So you'll have to play this with good speed to make sure that you don't overroll the position. You want to leave yourself a slight angle. So you wanted to hit it way thinner, a little bit harder to go straight back towards the 9. Ideally, I think I'd like to be like a cue ball, maybe 1 ball width off the rail in front of the side pocket, so I could just use a little bit of draw. Basically the same angle of this, but you want to be closer, and then just draw the shot. Then you would have been able to, if it was closer, you could have played the control of the speed a little bit more easily. From here, if you can cut it to the left into the corner, and the cue ball goes above the side when it hits the rail, that's a good shot. It may be such that if you cut it, that it'll scratch, in which case you're going to need to use draw to stay below the side, and then the control becomes pretty tricky as far as what you do with it. Might try to go back and forth. I think from here you just go for it and play your speed. Down and up and back. possibly down and up and back and up. Looked to me like on that stroke was kind of like staring and twisting it a little bit more. I don't know what kind of English was being put on there. If you put left English on it, it may have just squirted out to the right, and just a center ball hit may have made the ball. Looks like a bank shot into the side is a good shot here. You can play forward on the cue ball and then just go to the side rail and back out for the 9. Not sure that I'd play safe. I don't feel like the safe is necessarily any easier than going for it. If you bank it to the side and you hit it and you don't make it, then the 8's going to be, you're going to be shooting the cue ball away from the 9, making it further away from the 8, or further away from the shot. So moving the 8 further away from the 9 ball can make the shot more difficult for your opponent. If you keep the 8 and the 9 closer together, then they will more often have a shot. Ooh. If the 8's a little bit off the rail, I would put the cue ball close to the rail so that when you make it, it comes off the rail just a little bit, but it's not that important. Mainly, I just want to roll it forward to create maybe like 1.5 to 2 diamonds of distance so that the 9 ball's easier. So just a follow stroke. Good shot. All right, scores 1-0. Vic's break. Maiden ball. Position on the 1. Looks like you can elevate just a little bit and punch above the 2. Maybe you have to draw back a little bit, which would require you to elevate even more. Bumped it, worked out. So now you go 2 rails and play, pretty much get your cue ball right between the 6 and the 8. Looks like you need a touch of left to turn the cue ball a little bit wide. A little bit too hard. Might consider banking this ball if you can get around the 9. Otherwise, you can play safety by thinning the 3 to the left, kind of behind the 9 ball, and using the 8 ball as a defending ball. Pretty good shot. If you can hit half ball here, you can try to bank it towards the 9, cue ball towards the 7 and the 4. Here, if there's any angle, then I'd play where you could use follow and go under the 8 and then shoot the 4 short side. That might be a shot. Maybe kick at this if you can't hit it on the way in. Could try to cut it all the way down. It's pretty tough. I might try to kick it at the 6. A little bit of variance here. I think probably what I'd do here is bank this ball past the 9 in the corner, and the cue ball is going to naturally come up table enough to cut that and cut the 6 in the corner. I think you can maybe cut this in the side without scratching. Maybe not. It looks like it's tough to cut it in the corner without scratching also. If you're going to play safe, I would probably bank the 4 all the way up and down towards the 8, and then just send your cue ball up table. Just be concentrating on trying to work on my stroke here in the midst of it all. Always working on smooth, relaxed swing as best you can. Ideally, you want to be able to see yourself accomplishing the shot with a comfortable stroke, with your best stroke. You're going to cut this in the side. Probably need left English to really get a really good shot, and a lot of left English. Otherwise, You can end up being like up like there, which is still doable, but it's a little tougher. So from here I might try to shoot a stop shot just to maintain the angle so that you can shoot the 8 and go down to one rail and back up. If you get a little bit straighter in, then it's a little bit more difficult to judge the angle. Try to plan 2 to 3 balls ahead. Plus I like look at the rack before I run it and kind of see what my likely situation is going to be. It's a good shot. Just got to take what you get and make the ball. Positive mental attitude is the key. I don't know if this goes in the side. Maybe not. Good bank. 2-0. Okay, Bryan's break. Probably recommend to Bryan on this table. The balls break a little bit better from the side. Excuse the bump. Try break. Let's see. Probably just be playing safe to try to get a better position to make a shot here and then connect some shots together. So I'd probably bank the 2 towards the 8 and leave the cue ball on the end rail. Maybe on the side rail. Doesn't look like it really goes anywhere. You maybe kick at it to do a similar thing. It's a good shot. Good kick. Perfect shape. Take a breath. Focus yourself. One thing that I've been working on doing more is trying to identify that actual exact spot that I want the cue ball to end up in. Then I visualize the contact point so I can construct the ghost ball. And by constructing the ghost ball and then the contact point, you're basically telling the universe where you want the object ball to go, and then by placing the cue ball in your mind at the end of the path, that's where you want it to end up. And then you can build the visualization as far as the spin and all the other information from that. A little bit too much speed. Just knowing the end position and like really locking it in and taking a look is the way. Not sure if you can make it here. If you can, it's just a stop shot or draw. Nice and smooth stroke. Ideally. Slow backswing, transferring the energy slowly to the forward swing, like a smooth transition. As best you can. Let's cut this in. Probably play it with enough speed to go up and down. I don't think that holding it is a good idea. If you would have made that, it would have been a perfect shot. Just overcut it slightly so the cue ball went forward. I'd probably try to leave the 4 straight in so I can draw straight back. If you're going to go forward, then you want to leave an angle, so you want the cue ball a little bit further out than the rail than that, but not too much more. Then you can use follow. Go 2 rails for the 5. Pretty good shot. I didn't really see what else you could do other than just leave it down there. I'm going to cut this in the side. I like that shot. Play shape to cut the 6 in the side. So I'd be playing with this with slow speed. Play with this with draw or follow. If you play with follow, you're going to have to hit it quite a bit harder, and draw, you'd have to play a delicate speed, because if you overroll, you'll be either scratching or going into the side rail. Pretty good shot. Kind of in between. That was more of a stun. Very good. Just play a stop shot here. Roll forward a little bit if you want to. Probably a little bit too far. Now here, you're just same thing. You just stop the ball here. Give yourself a little bit of angle so you can get closer to the 8 for that shot. I think one thing to concentrate on doing is trying to get your tip a little bit closer to the cue ball on your practice strokes. Just gotta find your happy place and your good, nice methodical pace or whatever you need to slow yourself down enough to actually do the work of seeing the shot and then doing it and not being in such a rush. Like on the prior shot of the 7, I shot it way quicker than this shot, and really, if you spent more time on that shot, it could have gotten closer and made the 8 ball even easier. Here, if you're trying to get around, you gotta punch with right, or just punch. And you gotta basically drill this ball to get all the way around for the 9 if you're gonna play 2 rails. Otherwise, you can play follow and try to play to the other side, to the right side, and risk scratching. Good shot. Really good shot. A little bit narrow, a little bit thin, but pretty good. So yeah, they were pretty solid in order to make it. All right, the score is 2-1. Vic's break. Three, 6, 9. Dry break. Looks like Bryan has a good shot to make this in the side. The 2 ball is tied up. There's really not much to do but try to either shoot the combo, which is fairly difficult because the 3 is very far from the hole, or play to a safety of some sort from where the 1 is. Yeah, you might just make it 1 and then play safe. Yeah, you got safe there. Probably just kick at this ball. It's not that important to do anything with this shot because the 2 is tied up. So unless the 2 is dealt with, there's really not much going on in this game. Good shot. Ball in hand might help you navigate the situation. I think you just got to use right spin. I mean, if you can make it, then you can make it, but I think you want to use right spin to try to kick at it, and if you can make it, you also want to use right spin so that you can potentially drive the cue ball, yeah, like that, into those balls to separate them. So here I like playing the cue ball back to the middle of the table, or even all the way down to playing the 2 in the side. Then you can just naturally roll the ball. It's important to make a decision about what you're going to do before you shoot every single shot. bit too hard. I think that a lot of people struggle with the speed of the stroke for a shot, and I think a lot of that comes from not kind of paying attention to what the shot would actually look like if you were to do it and how hard you're actually hitting it. Once I started visualizing more what it would actually look like if I saw someone do it, then it made me understand a lot better about how hard I need to hit it, because it's not like there's like a number is really what's happening. You know, you say hard and soft, but there's actually just like an amount of power that you need to use. And then once you're more consistent with your stroke, you can actually discover that number and then attach it to a quality of stroke. Pretty good. I just need to make this with low ball, no English. Any right or left spin here definitely can make the object ball throw and miss, and the squirt when the ball is less than a foot away is actually magnified, in my opinion, and harder to judge. Good shot. If you could have pulled that back a little bit, that would have been better. This is good though. You just need to hit this solid. This is where having like a little bit more of a powerful center ball stroke comes in handy. Because if you have a good center ball stroke here, you could play this 2 rails back below the 9, and it wouldn't be so difficult. Pretty good. That was almost there, just slightly lower. Maybe a touch of right. But I think this is good. If you can make it, that's cool. Ideally, I would have been below the 9, but this is fine too. Set that 2 full. Probably on the 6 to the 7, I would have just rolled it and not necessarily played for the 7 in the side. I might have played the 7 for the corner where you shot the 6 and just rolled up to a spot there. Otherwise, you can hit hard enough to go up and down and shoot the 7 in the side. Almost got really, really good there. You can play for the bank. Play your cue ball with a decent amount of power and play your position, maybe 3 rails back out to another bank on the 8. Might play for a bank shot here. Stop shot and then bank from the position where it's at. Be an easy reverse bank. I'm not sure if the 8 goes in the side or not. I was assuming it didn't go. Just play top English here. Make it in the corner or the side. Either way is still top English. You might put like a touch of right English if you're going to play. Oh, it does go on the side. Nice. Might have tried to go for just a little bit more to get out of the pocket a little bit, if you could have. Investigate the setup of that shot. It seemed like got down on it before he really knew the line, and the bridging was funny too. He may have had to get back up and then readjust and get down properly. They're playing call 9, it looks like. I'm not sure. Nobody told me exactly what the rules were. It's just 9 ball. I guess it's alternate break, but I'm not sure. Good shot. 3-1. So it's Bryan's break. He made a ball. Good shot on the 2. Might drive this with just straight follow and then go to the end rail and then back up between the 4 and the 6. Just with the distance there, you don't want to mess around too much with the English. And you just allow the natural roll to carry you, and then you just add a little bit to the speed of it. So here, if you can make the 2 and bump the 6 heavily to hold it, that would be a good shot, assuming that the 6 didn't get bumped and entangle with the 7. Otherwise, it looks like the tangent line if you were just use low cue ball with no English and hit it very soft but have enough draw. That was the first shot. Good shot. 6 is not a problem. So if you're straight in here, I'd like to just draw back. If the cue ball goes to the rail, it's still going to be draw, but once it hits the rail, if you have a little bit of left English, then that will pull it up the table and give you a better shot on the 4. Looks like from here you're going to be playing 2 rails. Play a little on the thin side to get the cue ball to come back around to where the 9 is at. You want it to go a little bit wider than that. I think that you're supposed to cut this to the left with right spin and play your cue ball to shoot the 6 all the way down. Or you could potentially get a position to shoot the 6 in the side, cutting it to the left. Cutting it to the right, you're going to have to play 4-rail position back to the little bit past the middle of the table. It's a little bit more power. Pretty good shot, but I ended up kissing the ball. I don't know. It's hard to tell exactly what was possible. So here, I guess the bank was there. That's a good try. Not much of a safety there. You could play a stop shot and bank, Z-bank, the cue ball out, and then it would basically hopefully end up about right there, and the cue ball be where the 6 was before. Be like a little bit of stun on the 6. So you can bank this and just go down table for the shape on the 7. It's overrolled a little bit. Not sure if this goes. Banking wise. Could be a double kiss. Pretty good try. Guess the cut goes all the way down maybe here. Maybe you can go for the carom. You could try to bank the 7 in the side. Reverse bank it if there's an angle. Alright. So here I'd probably play a touch of left English when I cut the 7 in the corner, and that will help check it so that it doesn't go forward and scratch in that corner, and then play up and down. I think it's helpful to go and kind of like look to see what it looks like, the 7 going in. That's how I kind of visualize as I go and stand behind the ball, so I can visualize it going in and entering the pocket. And then I try to see the cue ball hitting it and how the cue ball has to hit it in my mind. And then from there, it helps me understand what it needs to look like when I actually look at it from the cue ball perspective, behind the cue ball. Overcut that. Kind of stood up on the shot. Same kind of thing there. So cut this in the side. throughout all this, you want to kind of take the good and the bad of it, and then kind of take mental checklists of the things that you liked seeing about what you're doing here and things that you didn't like seeing, and the things that you didn't like, you want to come up with a replacement, something to do instead of what you were doing, in place of what you did. And then the things that you like seeing, you want to do that more, and then try to see yourself doing that more. 4-1. Yes. It's Vic's break. Dry break. On this table, my best success break is to hit the cue ball almost completely full, but slightly across the top, meaning that if I'm breaking from the right side, I'm going to aim just a little bit to the left of straight at the 9, or at the 1, excuse me, and using a firm center ball hit slightly below center. And I want to see the cue ball to bounce off of the 1, kind of like a pop. But even just hitting a stop shot on the 1 ball from the area where, kind of by where the 8 is, generally will make a ball on this table with the magic rack. Period effort there. Straight in on the 1. So really want to play a draw stroke probably here. Try to draw back for a slight angle on the 2, or straight in. And you can punch off the rail if you have enough angle, or you're going to have to maybe go forward. You can go 2 rails with decent stroke. You can come back just a little bit and play for a bank shot. If there's any angle there, I probably would have used a follow stroke. I know that it's possible we could have gotten hooked behind the 7 there, but I would have tried to come back through the gap where the 8 and the 6 are. Through the same gap, and then just leave whatever shot it was. Couldn't tell if that was makeable. I guess it was. So just a little bit of a draw stroke would have been all that was necessary. It was like pretty crazily overhit. We come over here and check to see the exact angle I need to get on the 3 to go to the 4 so that I can play an exact position for the cue ball. Makes it a little bit easier to judge what's going to happen with the English when you know how hard you're going to hit it, because that is a factor. And whether or not it goes or not. The angle of the shot when you're using English is completely determined by the speed of the stroke. So it's one of the things you have to actually judge for and adjust for. No rail? Play this with, get almost straight in and a little bit of draw, or you can go to the side rail and back in between the 3 and the 6. I try to make them both here with the follow stroke. Playing off of it, that was a good shot. Ended up with a good shot. Just cut this and go straight up and down. Back up to the middle of the table. Maybe a touch of inside, maybe just high ball. Nice bump. Play this with right English. Center ball right. Throw the ball. So you aim a little bit full and throw it thinner, and that creates a little bit more angle on the shot, and then a little bit of the extra right English will turn it more even than that. Hit this with the center ball. Punch it into the pocket, and then your cue ball will basically go at a good tangent line angle, so you can get a 15-degree angle on the 7. Here I'd probably play low left, come back on the same path like that, but harder. You might have had to cut it a little bit more to get more angle, more distance on the cue ball, I should say. Straight high ball here. This looks like a bank shot. Make sure to follow the cue ball to end up with the shot on the 8. Cut this in the side. Center right. Just a tip, not even a tip, just a little bit of right English, so that the cue ball doesn't go toward the 8 once it hits the rail, and you can maintain an angle but not so much right that you hit that point. And it had a little bit of draw on it. You didn't need to draw the ball. Might consider kicking this in. Could try to bank this ball, cut it. It's not a very good save here. Safety, I might play thinly off the cue ball. 2 rails back down to the end where Vic is standing. And then force him to shoot a combination 8-9 from a long ways away. So now it's time for the bottom right hand shot. Or you just roll that in. Is it angled enough to where it didn't look like it was going to scratch? Cut or bank, whatever you like better. Just nail it. I like shooting this with high ball and a touch of left. Play the speed to the other rail only. To avoid any scratching. Score's 5-1. This would be an okay time to take a jump shot if you can jump and stop it or jump and draw it. I think probably Bryan is about ready to get a longer jump cue. That one seems a little bit too small. I'd create a little bit of an angle and then do a little bit of draw. So you can come towards the 3 a little bit, not leave yourself so far away. Straight draw here. Creates a punch. half ball hit with touch of left, play just to the left of the line of between the 5 and the 4. The rail first, I think is what that was. It worked out. You just punch a little bit of draw and a little bit of left to play for straight in on the 5. It's pretty good. Probably follow forward here. Looks like he tried to create the cue ball angle, and that's why the ball was missed. You gotta identify the exact spot you need to hit to make the ball, and then use the speed of the shot to carry the ball to the location. Otherwise, if you deviate to create an angle, that'll make the cue ball go where you want, but then the object ball will not be pocketed. So you have to realize that you have to kind of like create the position from the actual spot that the cue ball must start from after it contacts the successfully pocketed object ball. Probably play this with top English. It looks like you can cut it to the 5 to the left and go to the end rail and then the second and the side rail. So that's what I like. Then I can just let the natural roll of the cue ball enhance it so I can get more travel out of the ball. And then you have the same angle that you have now, but you're 4 feet closer by just letting the cue ball continue to roll the way it wants to roll. Bank the ball here. Follow. Get a habit of waving the stick when you're failing. I don't know. It's a bad look. You always want to be composed, looking at least. I feel like you never want to let them see you sweat. Ideally, it is a gentleman's game after all. Pretty good try. Gotta just let it go. If you get trapped in the struggle, you get trapped in the struggle. Nothing gets better until you get out of it. You just gotta take a breath, realize that it's gonna be okay. Good shot. Partly you come here to fail so you can learn from the experience and become better. If it was easy like tic-tac-toe, we'd all be bored long ago. 6-1. Vic's break. A little adjustment on the break there. Interesting. Dry break. Probably push out here to the bottom left corner to lead the kick shot, one rail kick shot. Then if they give it back, then you can play the one rail kick and stick shot. And if they want to, they're welcome to try it. Otherwise, I'd consider moving the 4 ball with the rollout. Looks to me as though, and this is mainly because where the 3 is that if you're below the 4, that the 4-9 carom looks like it might be on. I don't know, you'd have to really look at it. Because he played to shoot the shot, which if you don't want to roll out, I guess you can try that. A little overrolled. Not sure what conversation's happening here. I'd love to have heard it. I suppose I could listen to it. Might have tried to use a little bit of draw to get a shot on the 3. So here I'd probably take a look, and if the 4-9 carom goes, I'd be shooting the 3 to the right, and then just floating the 9, the cue ball up slightly. If the carom doesn't go, then I'd play the 3 to the left, and then play the cue ball above the 3 slightly, and play with follow and go down to the end rail, and then the side rail to shoot the 4 in the corner to the right. Looks like from here he's pretty good on the carom on the 9. It's hard to tell from watching it whether or not it was makeable or not. Either way, high ball, a little bit of inside. A little bit more left English would have made that ball go more towards the middle of the table. It would have made it grab just a little bit off the first rail and then carry to the second rail, so that this shot you'd have more control of the reaction, or you could even shot at it. That was a good save. Could have shot to play the carom off the 7 for position on the 6. So Bryan looks like he's just going to make the 9. It's pretty smart, really. It wasn't that much potential for a combo, but there's not much he could have done with that position or the way that safety was. So it's a legitimate strategy. You're definitely making it harder. If you assume you're already going to give up ball in hand, that's the best you can do is make it harder. It's a pretty good shot right here. Just need to punch. And then the cue ball will float up with a little bit of punch, like a forward punch. Like that. Strike would have been, if you just played it slightly above where you did, it would have probably been exactly where you wanted the cue ball to be. Just got to get used to making the ball with punch by practicing punch. A center ball stun shot. It's like lucky, unlucky here. Made the 7, but ended up with a very difficult situation on the 8. And against a player like Bryan, if you miss and leave an easy 8 ball, he's capable of making 1 ball in the 8 quite easily. Making the 8 and getting shape. I think a bank shot's good here. Nice and smooth. If you do, no matter what you do, you should do nice and smooth. Probably didn't have to hit it that hard. Nice and smooth. I would just roll this and shoot it in the side. Play shape for the 9 in the side. It's pretty good. A little bit low. By shooting the 2 railer, you're going across the line, so you have to play your speed proper. And then the other shot's just so much less cue ball travel. It's pretty easy to judge. And then the 9 is pretty makeable into the side. Either shot's fine. So ideally you want to play for straight in, or I like to be slightly above the straight in line with the cue ball myself. Scratched. On that 9, you could have avoided scratching by using a little bit of draw and a softer stroke. By slamming it, it's ensuring that the tangent line gets followed for a longer period of time, and the cue ball has less time to deviate its path. So you have to, if you're trying to draw out of the scratch or follow out of the scratch, then you have to hit the ball with less velocity and more stroke so that you can get the proper action. Alright, if you can draw straight back to get straight in on the 2 or roughly, then that would be good. This is pretty good. If you have too much angle to come straight back to the middle of the table, then you want to play 3 rails. 3 rails would just be low and right. This is pretty good. Now you're going to play with follow. If you put too much left on this, then you can bump into the 7. So you just want to use straight high ball. Good shot. A little bit too far maybe. This is fine. Got to learn how to be a little bit more detached. Can't live and die by the turn of the ball so much long term. Speed worked out. Not sure if that went or not. If it does go, best way I can say is you gotta be as accurate as you can, and you have to pretend that the 8 is not even there, and then just watch it go into the portion of the pocket that you need it to go, and then you just shoot it confidently. Try to make the bank combo. Let's play make it with follow. A lot of body movement on that and a correction before when you get back down. Just got to make a decision about what you're going to do before you get down on the ball. A little bit thinner, I think, would have been a great shot. The speed was good of that shot. I think you just hit it too full. Thinner would have been more natural, like roll of the ball, down table. think when you're getting at the beginning of your career in pool, it's difficult to know what your best process is. So I think that one of the things that would be good and that could be taken from this is to see, okay, what of the things that I see about my game are really the things that make me more successful, and make a list of that stuff, kind of mentally at least, so that when you're watching yourself play and you see the different habits that you have, identify the ones that are actually helping you, and then you can kind of identify the ones that are not helping you as much. And then there's obviously going to be some that are maybe neutral, and then there's going to be some habits that are maybe not so good that you'd like to replace with better habits, and there's some that are the ones that like are holding you permanently back from being really good. So, and those ones you got to address immediately. But you got to kind of categorize everything and then make a decision about, okay, this is what kind of player I'm going to be, and I'm going to start embodying these things about pool and about the different, ways that you can be, because you can pretty much use any kind of style and be successful, and your fundamentals are not as important as your mentality. From a uniqueness perspective, however, your own personal style must be in alignment with who you are in order for you to be maximum success that your potential is capable of, because you cannot replicate through someone else's whatever yourself. You have to develop your own style. In order to do that, you have to explore the game a little bit more and try different things, and then find the things that really speak to you and do those more, and the things that you admire about other players and do those more, and then do less of the things that really aren't helping you, that you maybe did before, you knew better, but now you know better. And then you just gotta kind of go through a cycle of that. How's a good stroke? A little bit more speed. For instance, if you want your stroke to be smooth and it's choppy, then all you really need to do to be successful is just make it smooth. You don't have to make more balls. You don't have to get in position more often. If your success measurement has nothing to do with executing and more about the style, then you will know like how your swing needs to feel, needs to look, and all that to be feeling like this is my stroke. And then the balls will start going in because you're confident that your swing is your swing and you're doing it the way you want to do it. Went for the 9. Looks like he's cutting 4. Just calling the 9 just in case. Must be playing tap rules. So I'll probably be playing for the combo. I might look to see where I exactly want to go, where I would like to shoot the combo from, just to make my life easier, because the combo itself is not going to be so easy to where you just end up anywhere and can make it every time. Interesting turning of the wrist. It's like there was some readjustment, so probably would have been good to get back up and then back down. Take a little bit more time before you get down to enter into the shot more confidently from the whole perspective of the whole shot. Alright, looks like probably the 4-9 is going to go for it here. Almost. Ooh. Alright, so doing pretty good here. Probably take a look to verify that you indeed want to be wherever you're going to end up here. I feel like maybe that could have been a stop shot. Take your time, smooth stroke. Just take your time, see the shot going in, see the cue ball going to the place that you planned for it to go. Seven to 3. Good break. Get relatively straight in on the 2, then you can play for the 4 in the corner. Should be pretty easy to do from where you're at here with the 1. Might have to punch it or something. I can't tell quite how straight in it is. got away with it. I think on a shot like that, it's difficult enough to where you might want to go and look down the barrel of it, so to speak, so that you can see the ball going in. If you don't know what it really looks like enough to be confident, then you probably need the reps to visualize the visualization practice of looking down the barrel of it. And that one of the true goals is to be able to see the whole shot unfold. So until you can do that, learning how to construct a visualization is pretty crucial. So here I might consider, if it's, I don't know how easy it would be because it's hard to see with the balls, but maybe playing the 4 off the 6 and trying to make the 4. On this shot, I might consider trying to make the 9. I'm definitely trying to make the 9 now with this bank shot. However, you gotta be careful about the speed, because the 9, if you leave the 5 down there, then you could leave the 5-9 combo again. So depending on what you think is likely to happen, if you miss, you have to like kind of decide how hard you're gonna hit it. Excuse me. So let's just make this and go natural rolling ball for the 6. Ooh, that was a cool shot. Pretty good. I just do the same thing. A little wild. Made a ball. I Consider cutting this all the way down, playing the cue ball back and forth a couple times for the two in the corners, either of the corners. Good shot. Overcut it. Interesting. Tough to do. Might just make this in the corner and then just roll it slow. Maybe you could punch it to the side rail. I think a bank shot here is a good shot. There's potential to get shape on the three pretty easily from the natural way that you'd pocket this ball, and then with all the other balls in the open, it's a good risk reward. Just go forward just a little bit. Good shot, making the 9. The 8's kind of in the way here, so you just got to play a little bit more precisely. Just like punch, sliding ball. Sliding ball makes it go a little bit closer to the 4. This is decent. You're going to want to be putting a little bit low English and then letting the cue ball go 2 rails. Just kicking 1 rail to the left is probably the shot here. 2 rails, 1 to 2 rails. just want to maintain an angle on the 8 ball so you can come back up table easily for the 9. I like playing the bank shot here. If this pocketing to the cutting it to the right is not that easy, playing a bank shot is, might be able to maintain the angle and get a two-way potential, like a safety like this. Ultimately, you're going to want to hold out for a good shot because going from the 8 to the 9 can be tricky. We need to be pretty accurate on that shot. I think draw. We'll take it above the side. Maybe not. Overall, Bryan's banking's been pretty good. He's made several. Although he has banked a lot, but the long rail ones are doing better than the short rail ones. Or the long banks, I mean, they're better than the shorter banks. Some of those shorter banks are just hitting it overly too hard. And that they're just shortening up. So you just gotta play the speed proper. Believe it or not, when the 9 is on the spot, there's no scratch shots. You can make it from every place on the table and it will not scratch. So you know. The tangent line is not a scratch shot. So as long as you don't draw into the scratch, there's no scratch from anywhere. Alright, left Bryan a pretty good opportunity. See what happens here. Alright, scores 8-4. Bryan's break. Dry break. Probably roll forward, shoot the two short side. That was good, getting over there. Play for the 3 in the side. Can't really see what's going on here. Just bear down and make this ball. Can't worry too much about the scratch. Ideally, you twist this to the right and go to the right of the 6. Maybe you have to go into the gap closer to the 4, but that's kind of coming in at the short angle. You don't have a lot of distance where you can get on it. That's a good shot. Might draw back to the 5 in the side, or if you have a little bit of angle, you might be able to punch it up to where kind of where the 8 is. Nice and smooth. Play this 6 in the side as well. Just make the ball here. Use your best process. Maybe it went, maybe not. So I think it might go, like I said, you just got to pretend that it's not there and shoot for that edge of the pocket, the far side. Um, and just find out. And then after you do it a while, you'll find that answer. Okay, now it's fortunate. Actually, this is a natural to play for the 8 in the same corner as the 7, just by going all the way down with just a straight high ball. Draw if you can, nice and smooth. Gotta draw your hand back smooth, go smooth transition, smooth follow through to get the maximum draw with the minimum effort. You just gotta practice pulling your hand back slowly and then following through to the same point. Shoot this with follow. Nice and smooth. Doesn't look like it's gonna bump the 9. You just gotta trust. A little too much. This works. Do what you gotta do. Alright, 9 to 4.